Hello all, welcome to the video lecture series of CS404 Embedded System. In this PPT, we are discussing the introduction part of the module 1. In this topic, in this video, we are mainly discussing about these topics. First one, what is an embedded system? Second one, characteristics of embedded system. Third one, challenges in embedded system design. Fourth one, performance in embedded computing. So moving to the first topic, what is an embedded computer system? An embedded computer system is a device that includes a programmable computer, but it is not itself intended to be a general purpose computer. An embedded system is a computer, it's a programmable computer. It can perform a specific function, but alone it cannot do any functions. That is what it means here. It's a programmable computer, but is not itself intended to be a general purpose computer. Thus, a PC is not itself an embedded computing system, although PCs are often used to build embedded computing systems. Examples of embedded computing systems are fax machine, clock, washing machine. Embedding computers. Worldwind, the first computer designed to support real-time operation. It's the first computer. Worldwind is the first computer designed to support the real-time operation. First microprocessor, Intel 404, designed for embedded application, namely a calculator. Intel 404 designed for embedded application, it's a calculator. SP35 is the first handheld calculator. Embedded system is also used in automobile industries. Example, it's used to control the engine, different functions of the engine and all. So, mainly in programmable CPU is used in all the embedded systems instead of hardware CPU, because programmable CPU is easier to design and debug, allow possibilities of upgrades. Second topic is characteristics of embedded system. First characteristics is complex algorithm. The microprocessor that controls an automobile engine must perform complicated filtering functions to optimize the performance of a car while minimizing pollution and fuel utilization. Complex algorithms are used in all the embedded systems. Here what it means is the microprocessor that controls the automobile engine must perform complicated filtering function. As I told in the previous slide, embedded systems are used in automobile industries. So a microprocessor that controls an automobile engine must perform complicated filtering functions to optimize the performance of the car and while minimizing pollution and fuel utilization. Second one is user interface. An embedded system must be user friendly. For here it's an example is shown here. The moving maps in GPS navigations are good examples of sophisticated user interfaces, such as the Google Maps and all. It's very friendly with the user. Next one is real time. Many embedded computer systems have to perform in real time. If the data is not ready by a certain deadline, the system breaks. In some cases, failure to meet a deadline is unsafe and can even endanger lives. In other cases, missing a deadline does not create safety problems, but does create unhappy customers. Missed deadlines in printers, for example, can result in scrambled pages. Next characteristic is multi-rate. Not only must operations be completed by deadlines, but many embedded computing systems have several real-time activities going on at the same time. Multimedia applications are prime examples of multi-rate behavior. The audio and video portions of a multimedia stream run at very different rates, but they must remain closely synchronized. For example, if we are watching a movie in our laptop, the audio and video files must be synced. Otherwise, it will not be comfortable for us. That's called multi-rate behavior. It's a characteristics of embedded system. Next one is cost of various sorts are also important. Cost. Here manufacturing cost is discussed. The total cost of building the system is very important in many cases. Manufacturing cost is determined by many factors, including the type of microprocessors used, the amount of memory required, and the types of I/O devices. The manufacturing costs of a embedded system is determined by these factors. Its first one is type of microprocessor used, the amount of memory required, and the type of I/O devices. Next one is power and energy. Power consumption directly affects the cost of hardware, since a larger power supply may be necessary. Energy consumption affects the battery life, which is important in many applications, as well as heat consumption which can be very important in desktop applications. So next topic is challenges in an embedded computer system design. First challenge is how much hardware do we need to meet. So in an embedded system, how much hardware is required is discussed here. To meet both performance deadlines and manufacturing cost constraints, the choice of hardware is important. Too little hardware and system fails to meet its deadlines. Too much hardware and it becomes too expensive. So we need a hardware which must be which helps to complete the task within the deadline, but it also do not cost much. So a hardware is need to be designed in such a way. Next challenge is how do we meet deadlines. The brute force way of meeting a deadline is to speed up the hardware so that the program runs faster. That makes the system more expensive. So speeding up the hardware helps to run the program faster, so we can meet the deadline, but it may result in increasing the expense of the system, cost of the system. Next one is how do we minimize power consumption. Next challenge. One way to make a digital system consume less power is to make it run more slowly. But so if we make the system run slowly, it will slow down the system and it leads to missed deadlines. This cannot happen. Careful design is required to slow down the non-critical parts of the machine. So the non-critical parts of the machine must be slowed down while meeting necessary performance goals. Next one is how do we design for upgradability. So upgradability may be needed in the future. So the hardware platform may be used over several product generations or for several different versions of a product in the same generation with few or no changes. We must be able to add new feature by changing software. So it mainly discuss about the scope of adding new features in the software. Next challenge is does it really work. So a hardware is designed, a embedded system is designed, will it be work in the future? That is what discussed here. Reliability is always important when selling products. Reliability is especially important in such applications such as safety critical systems. So what is discussed here is reliability is important in all the applications, all the products. So in safety critical systems, reliability is very important. So let's consider some ways in which the nature of embedded computer systems make their design more difficult. First one is complex testing. Exercising an embedded system is generally more difficult than typing in some data. We may have to run a real machine in order to generate the proper data. The timing of data is often important, meaning that we cannot separate the testing of an embedded computer from the machine in which it is embedded. Next one is limited observability and controllability. Embedded computing systems usually do not come with keyboards and screens. This makes it difficult to see what is going on and affects the system's operation. Embedded systems generally do not have a screen or keyboard, so we does not know what is happening inside the system. Next one is restricted development environments. We generally compile code on one type of machine such as PC and download it onto embedded system. To debug the code, we must usually rely on programs that run on the PC or workstation and then look inside the embedded system. So the coding is done in one place and it is run on another place. So debugging is difficult. Next topic is performance in embedded computing. Embedded system designers have a very clear performance goal in mind. Their program must meet its deadline. The heart of the embedded system is real-time computing. So this is the point to keep in mind. The heart of embedded computing is real-time computing. In order to understand the real-time behavior of an embedded computing system, we have to analyze the system at different levels of abstraction. Those layers include: first one, CPU. The CPU clearly influences the behavior of the program, particularly when the CPU is pipelined processor with a cache. Next one, platform. The platform includes the BUS and the I/O devices. The platform components that surround the CPU are responsible for feeding the CPU and can dramatically affect its performance. Next one is program. Programs are very large and the CPU see only a small window of the program at a time. Next one is task. We generally run several programs simultaneously on a CPU, creating a multitasking system. The tasks interact with each other in a way that have profound implications for performance. Next one is multiprocessor. Many embedded systems have more than one processor. They may include multiple programmable CPUs as well as accelerators. Once again, the interaction between these processors add yet more complexity to the analysis of the overall system performance. Here we are discussing about the previous year university question papers from this topic. Only 2 questions is asked. First one is, what is an embedded computing system? Write 2 functionalities of an embedded system. It is explained in the first slide. Next one is, mention the challenges in embedded computing system design. It's discussed here, these challenges. These all are the challenges, these 2 slides. So, I am concluding this video. In this video, we have learned what is an embedded system and the characteristics, challenges and performances in an embedded system. Thank you.